I like lecturing people, right? Or nagging people. So training is a very good platform. Today is day 2184 consecutive days. I have not missed putting up a post on LinkedIn. Is it too late to change your career? Before you start creating, consume first. If you do not know your business well, you do not know how to support the business well. Who is the heartbeat of the organization? Employees, right? If you take care well, they will die for your business. Maybe start by not organizing team building on people's off day. Negotiation is a skill HR really need. And who best to learn to negotiate from someone who negotiates with terrorists, the real terrorists?
You remember when we spoke the first time, I told you about this crazy idea about training, those things that I wanted to ask you. I probably will use the opportunity today. Before doing so, I won't do the introduction with all the numbers, but basically you're one of the biggest influencers in the region for HR. I think people see the videos and mostly know you from your social presence, but you actually also do leadership training and other things that are way deeper than the superficial image that we might have of you. What do you do if people don't know you yet?
I'm self-employed currently. I quit my corporate job. Then after that, I took a 9 months break. I went back on full-time work. The first thing I did was I got my HRDC certification as an accredited trainer. That is why you see I'm conducting public training. I'm just doing different stuff right now, just experimenting how it's like after being in corporate for so long, just following my own pace, doing my thing. I like lecturing people, right? Or nagging people. So training is a very good platform. That's why I'm conducting all this public training. I'm also in collaboration with Finlit Media. That is the media company that represents me. Then we are also doing some work that is media related. That is where you see me doing some brand awareness campaign, like for brands like 100 Plus, brioHR, Watch, that kind of thing. I tried different things. So far, these are the things I like, so I continued. Some of the things that I tried that I didn't quite like was acting. I actually was at a short cat comedy sketch with Astro. I didn't quite like that. I tried comedy too. I also did not quite like that. It's not my thing. I like watching TV. I like going for live comedy shows, but being on stage is a different story altogether.
That's funny. Okay. So when we talked about the sketches, that was what was in the back of your mind?
No, but you talk about that thing, it's a great idea. But I'm probably not the best person to execute it. Because you see, people follow me. When you talk about social media, right? People follow you because of a familiarity of your content. They are familiar with my talking head. Sometimes when I post something outside my talking head, the views are not so high. Because that is not the reason why they follow you in the first place, ma. Sketches are funny. So you have people that you follow just because you like to watch them to do sketches. That is what I feel. Because when I do this whole social media thing, I'm trying to analyze my audience. I also use myself as a case study. What is my habit? What caused me to follow someone? What will cause me to unfollow someone? Now, I give you an example. When someone is on my page, feeding on my page too much, right? I will unfollow because it's getting annoying. There was one period of time I was very aggressive posting and I noticed my followers were dropping. I also have to pace my stuff. Even for ads, I have to pace it accordingly. You will notice I will not have 2 advertisements back to back. So I have to post one ad, then I will post some good stuff in between, then post another ad so people don't unfollow me.
Makes sense. I was thinking following your path for being authentic, the sketches might not be your authentic self.
No, not to say not authentic. It might not work. If you get a comedy to do it, it might work because that is what people are looking for. I give you a very good example, like my recent campaign with 100 Plus. It was, for me, it's good shit, okay? It's very entertaining. It's a little comedy sketch that educate people about interviews. It's very nice, but because number 1 is a sketch. Number 2 is a sponsored post. I truly believe that's why the view was not so high. Besides that, it's more than 2 minutes. I analyze all these things and then I also ask around some of my close followers and friends. Then we also bounce ideas. Say like, why do you think this video is not working out? Because I feel like it's really good stuff. Don't they explain to me why from their point of view, from a viewer point of view, right? It's like, that makes sense. That makes sense. Besides, your kind of idea is a lot of work.
It is. It is.
It's a lot of work. And then,
Yeah.
okay, so you come and think about it, that you relate it back to your corporate job. If you would run a project that requires a lot of work and resources with high cost, but the outcome is going to be lesser, will you go for it? Or you would choose a project that will use minimum resources, minimum effort, but maximum outcome. It's fun to diversify sometimes, but sometimes it's not all about the outcome. Sometimes you also want a variety of stuff and trial and error, which is also a good thing, but we need to be prepared for it lah.
Agreed. And when you say analysis, how much of the analysis is data driven? Meaning you download all your videos and you look at the data, engagements, etc.
Okay, I always look at my engagement rates. I look at my view counts. I look at the reactions. Now, if I have the time, I read the comments. I used to have the time to read all the comments. But nowadays, it's just so overwhelming. I can't have that. But I always look at my engagement rates. And for sponsored contents, I will study what is the effect of the video 1 month later. I always have a little social media report card of my videos to see whether I'm adding value to my customers or not. One of the things that my videos do very well, I have very high share rates forward. People will always share my stuff out because I think it's information related, it's knowledge related. Okay, so like example, if you see someone doing a TikTok dance, they probably will have very high views, very high likes because it's entertaining to the audience. But would it be something they would share with their friend? Maybe no, because it doesn't add value to the friend. But for me, although my views are not high, my reaction might not be high, I have high share rates.
And your engagement is tiny for you, but it's not for most people. For most advertisers or for most brands, your numbers would be high. You have a high bar for what is high and low.
Besides analyzing my own content, I also analyze my competitors. I call them my competitors that with other influencers. They might not be in the HR space, but we are still on the social media space. My followers count, honestly, is low compared to a lot of my peers. But if we go out to public, who is more recognizable? It's me. If you put a row of influencers, most likely people will recognize me first because I have a lot of distinguished features like my hair clip. And because my laughter, a lot of people tell me they hear me before they see me.
Yes.
And because 99% of my video is my talking head, which means I am in your face all the time.
Yeah.
So people instantly can recognize my face compared to other influencers. Compare how recognizable I am on public, I have higher chances to have someone to say, hey.
Yeah. We were talking about crowded events, when you go to a trade show or like HR fairs. And we were talking about how to be visible, and you were on the slide of how to be visible because you truly stand out. That's an interesting one. And you spoke about the features. So there's a lot of awareness of those features that people will recognize. And I would agree. The way you dress, the way even how you do your hair. Is that something that came after being famous or during being famous, or you've always been like this?
It's all the while it's like that. It's just that I was never in the public eye. It's all the way. I have always been, I wouldn't say flamboyant. I like all this hippie stuff, like colors. I love colors. That's why I love the LGBTQ community. The rainbows are my thing. But it's all about consistency, right? At the end, it's about consistency. People, I think it's a lot to do with familiarity. If I meet a fan in public, they see me as if that like they met a long lost friend. Oh my God, long time no see. And they would come, and they would start fangirling there. But because I appear on their phone screen so often, they feel a sense of connection with me so many times. And then we will start chatting, we say hello, as if we have knew each other for aeons. But actually, we don't know each other at all. A lot of times when somebody approached me, then my husband will ask, who is that? I say, I don't know who is that. It's another fan.
That's so funny. It's interesting. The look you added before, I guess the vibe as well, because that's how you operate. And that's how I met you as well when we started talking. You're always the same. I didn't see you change from one video to the reality. The one thing that I'm wondering, how did this change this asymmetry of you not knowing them, but everyone knowing you? Because in the corporate world, or when you were not in the eye of the public, what you said, you were not experiencing this. So how does it feel to have this now?
It feels nice. It fits my narcissism very well.
It's cool.
I'm enjoying because I'm an extrovert, right? Extrovert, we love attention. Extroverts are attention seekers. Meanwhile, I have lost friends because they think I am just too much. But I have gained so much more friends who are able to accept me for who I am. I always say that it's okay to be whatever you are. Doesn't matter like if you're selfish, you have a very bad temper, or you are smelly or whatever. There will be people who are able to accept you. You just have to find your people.
Yeah.
So on social media, I found my people. So they understood me. They understand where I'm coming from. They understand my point of view. They know. It's very easy to connect. Now, a lot of people also say that, Auntie, you look exactly the same online and offline. But you guys also need to understand now, 90% of my videos are recorded during my live session. I go live and then there will be a lot of questions that will come during my live questions. It's like a Q&A thing. It's like ask AuntyHR anything. I will answer as I go. It's scriptless. I think on my feed. It's whatever my point of view during that point of time. It's all happening live.
Yeah.
That is why people appreciate this kind of authenticity nowadays. Even for myself, right, when I follow someone, that is also something very important for me. Is this person the same or not? I have made quite a number of influencers during this whole influencer journey. Sometimes we have all these press junket stuff and then some PR work, right? I have the opportunity to meet other influencers. And you will hear this very often. They are different when they're in person because when they are doing their content, they are doing it at their own space. When they come out to the public space, they get uncomfortable. It's a different persona, which I totally get it. It's the same thing like us sometimes, right? I know a lot of introverts that have been mistaken for being an extrovert because how they behave at work. The work requires them to be like that. For example, salespeople. The best salespeople I know they are introverts. But in front of the customer, they engage the customer so well because the job requires them to be so. And we only know that external part of what we see. At night, when they go back home, they cuddle in bed with a book. We don't see that part of them. It took me quite a long time to understand this because one of my boss, she's a great public speaker and she engages the crowd very well. Then when I get close to her, I notice she's not the same. If it's not in front of a crowd, she just like retreat back to her shell. And she doesn't want to talk anymore.
Yeah, I'm a tiny bit like that. I need my space. I think the introvert extrovert is about how you get your energy, and I'm more.
Yes.
I need to cuddle. Yeah.
That is why for introverts, after they like for a salesperson, right? Because they use a lot of extrovert energy, they get very tired at the end of the day. Because when talking to people, it drains the energy. Opposite of an extrovert, when we engage with people, it's like charging our battery. We get high from it.
Yeah. Very interesting what you're saying. And there are two questions for me. It's like, what was your corporate role? Like, what were you doing in your career before being an influencer? And then when did you start understanding your own skin and getting comfortable in it? Were you born already comfortable in your skin and flamboyant? Or you had a moment of discovery and understanding what your identity is and then accepting it? How did this process go? And was it in the corporate world or did it happen before? That genesis of AuntyHR is interesting.
Okay, my last full-time job, I was a corporate services director in Persol Kelly, which is one of the largest workforce solutions company in Asia Pacific. I have a very fancy title because I have a very fancy job. People know me as HR because I brand myself as HR in public. But in reality, I headed 4 departments. HR is obviously one, And it's quite normal when you guys are attached to HR, you'll be attached to admin. I was also attached to the admin department. Some of the admin stuff that we do is make sure the company is registered with all license. We are taking care of the licenses. Of course, your Milo, your toilet paper, everything we will take care. Then I also had service operations. I was also very involved in operation, and actually that is my background. I started in the workforce solution being in ops. So I've been in sales and operations my whole life. Then the last part was I was also head of marketing. That is 4 jobs. How all these things come about? Like you see, I have 4 jobs, 1 salary, because that is common nowadays. Nobody has 1 job, 1 salary anymore. You will have multiple jobs, but 1 salary. But you see what made me little is the combination of these 4 skills. I use my marketing skills to push myself to go out as a HR expert. And because of my operation background, I'm very entrepreneurial by nature. Then because of my admin thing, I can get my things in order. I can be a one-woman show because I was a one-woman show for many, many years in my company. Then on top of that, I also have been a leader in my own space for more than 18 years. It's the whole combination that make me so niche in the market. Not everybody has that kind of combo, I realize that. Now, have I been always been like this? Not really. I've been very active in public speaking my whole life, but it was never this extra. It all started with practice. It all started, how this thing came about, right? Was when I was bestowed with a marketing role. My boss just came in, tell me I'm going to take over marketing. There was no consent, anything. Just tell you go and do it. Later, they redesignated my position from head of service operation, become corporate services director. But the most interesting part is the last line in my letter. All terms and conditions remain the same. More work, same, everything else same. But you see, people complain about that all the time, which I can understand. So when followers come and tell me how boss keep loading them work but not compensate them accordingly, I understand that feeling because I was there. This is the thing. We Generation X, we are silent when it comes to all these things. Unlike the younger generation now, where they will voice out they are unhappy about it. I just took the job and just do it. For me, it's very simple. They give me the job. I don't have result yet. I don't have any chips to bargain. So lo and behold, during the first few months of my jobs, I really screwed up left, right, center. When I took over the admin role, I forgotten to renew a license. My company almost lost a license to operate. But because they know I am new, right? And they know that I was not given enough guidance, they were not very harsh on me. It's also fair that way lah. It was also fair to that extent. Now, as a head of marketing in Malaysia, I represent my country. When I go to regional meeting, I am there to represent Malaysia. And I remember when I went to my first regional marketing meeting, they were talking about SEO, search engine optimization. They were talking about it. How do we strengthen our brand in the market, right? I did not know what the frick is SEO. I don't know. Can you imagine head of marketing representing your country do not know what is SEO? And I remember on the spot, I quietly went to Google, what is SEO? Then everybody's advising. That moment of time, I realized something. The company give you this accountability. We don't talk about whether they compensate me fairly or not, but I accepted the job, right? I accepted it. I didn't say no to it. Hence, I have to be accountable of my acceptance. So when I came back from that regional meeting, I told myself, this cannot be it. I have to do something to enhance my marketing skills. My operation skill is fantastic. I've been in the business for 14, 15 years. But marketing, I know nothing about it. But what I did, I started listening podcasts because that's the new way of learning. Every day, I drive to work. I stay 1.5 away from the office. I drive to work 1.5 hours every day to work and from work 1.5 hours. So the 3 hours time I have in my car, I use it to listen to marketing podcasts. Nothing I can do anyway when I'm stuck in traffic. Then I was religiously listening to this guy called Gary Vaynerchuk. He's the owner of Vayner Media. He's a guy in a social media scene, marketing entrepreneur. He talks a lot of stuff, but he's the go-to marketing guy for some people. There was one particular episode, he was doing a Q&A. with the crowd, right? He's someone who will tell you that you cannot do one content per day. He will tell you things like you have to put up 200 contents per day. Like, in whose sane of mind think they can put up 200 contents per day? During one of the Q&A session, he spoke to this person. He said, you cannot do 200 is fine. Why don't you just start with one? Just start with one content per day. And when I was listening to that podcast to work, I felt that he was talking to me, and I absorbed that. I was like, I can do one. One I can do. So I reached the office, I fire up my laptop, and I log onto my LinkedIn account. And during that point of time, I have not opened my LinkedIn like forever, because the job, now that I hate marketing, and LinkedIn is one of those platforms that a lot of corporate marketers will focus on. So I have to open the account. I opened back, and I was quite shocked to see LinkedIn was not the LinkedIn that I used to know when I was a recruiter 15 years ago. It has become like a professional version of Facebook. Then I was like, okay. Then I consumed some content for a while. Then I put up my first post. Then on the next day, I wrote my second post, one per day. Now, people say that if you want to cultivate a habit, you have to do something 21 days continuously, right? And I remember Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because it's work related, I came Saturday on the fourth day. Do I work? Do I continue to create content? Or I skip Saturday, Sunday, I come back on Monday? I remember that flow of thought went through my mind. Then I say, heck it, we want to do this well, right? So we say we continue to work throughout the weekend. So Saturday, Sunday, I continue to do until day 21, continuously. I put up one post on LinkedIn every day. I write something random. Come day 22, will you continue to do it? And I remember when I reached day 22, I was like, okay, I've already done this for 21 days. Do I still continue? But that's the whole point of this 21 days challenge, right? It's supposed to help you to cultivate a habit. If it's a successful 21 days challenge, which means your 22nd day, you will be able to do it at ease without even thinking. Otherwise, your 21 days was not long enough to begin with. So I continued Day 22, day 100, day 1000. Today is day 2184 consecutive days. I have not missed putting up a post on LinkedIn. Every day, I will put up a post. Every day, whether the post is of quality or not, that is a different story. But every day, I will put up a post. When I was hospitalized, I still wrote. When I was on my honeymoon, I still wrote. Because that is something that we committed to ourselves too, right? Now, initially, it was a work thing. This whole story you were hearing, why did I come to social media? It was a work thing. I was bestowed to take care of marketing. And I think in order to understand marketing better, I have to immerse myself in the activities. That is why I went on LinkedIn, I went to TikTok, I went to Instagram to see what is this whole marketing thing is all about. And I started consuming content and creating content. What started out as work, as a burden, eventually became a therapy thing for me. It became something very constant in my life. And everybody would agree with me. Sometimes you feel like your life is so messy, it's so chaotic, that nothing is going on, where everything is just all over the place. And I went through that kind of midlife crisis during that point of time because of some personal stuff, nothing to do with work. All you men out there, my problem is always with men. But it was like all chaotic all over the place. But I found peace and solace when there is something constant in my life. And writing every day on LinkedIn is something predictable of me. It's like a thing that I do every day. So there are certain things I don't skip. I do it every day. Although there are days I do feel lazy, I don't want to post. But I still do it anyway because amidst all the chaos in my personal life, I felt that is the thing that kept me grounded. That thing became therapy for me.
Beautiful.
And then eventually I just found joy in it.
Now it's natural. Right? Like now it's no burden anymore. You said some days it's hard and you force yourself.
Sometimes it's hard. That is why I have a set of reserve. When you are feeling very hyper, I will have a lot of content ideas. So what I do, I create, but I park it one side. I don't publish. I call it rainy days.
Nah, the rainy box.
You bring out the reserve during rainy days.
I love it. Okay, cool. Cool. And I think I love the 21-day challenge. I almost felt like you were inviting me too. So I'm hearing it and I need to force myself.
You know what? Misery loves company. And I remember when I was doing this daily thing, by then I was like few years into it already. It's way beyond 1,000 days already. I always recruit people to come and do it with me because I think misery just loves company. I want everybody to suffer together with me. And nobody make it, okay? So eventually, I gave up. I have come to realize what is in it. What's nice for me doesn't mean it's nice for you.
Everyone, yeah, true.
But I continue to go out and share my story. My whole thing is it doesn't need to be writing on LinkedIn. But I would think if you want to be good at something, you need constant practice. Like even people who are expert at something already, right? They still practice. Like ballet dancer, they are very good in dancing, right? Dancers, they are very good. They dance every day. But do they stop practicing and getting better? No. They will get from good to great to greater.
True.
They continue, although they are very good at what they do, they still practice anyway. And that is how all my life things started also. My life things started because I was just bored. On top of my job, I remember there was one bitchy manager, okay? I have one very bitchy HOD. She came and complained and said that, why are we not on Instagram? Why are we not doing Reels? I was like, what is Reels? I don't even know what is Reels. So I had to go to Instagram. Then I look on Reels. And then I was like, oh, these are called Reels. Short video. Okay. Then I was like, how do you do it? Then I started seeing people going live all over platforms on LinkedIn, on TikTok, everywhere. People are talking about live, right? This is 3 years ago. I was like, what is it? Then I say that, okay, let me try going live and see what it is all about. And I remember that was 28 May 2022. It was the first time I went live on Facebook. It was so bad, okay? Really bad. Because it's my first time, Ma.
Yeah.
I do not know what to expect. And I remember it was so random. I was on my way to watch Top Gun. I was in the car and then my husband was driving. And then I just, then my husband said, you can go live on Facebook. I said, you can do it now? Okay, let me try to do it now. And that's how I went live for the first time. Now, again, you want to be good at something, you need to practice every day. That is also another commitment I give to myself. Every day, I went live. Every day. And initially, I even struggle to go live for 3 minutes, okay? And it's quite often I go live for 2 seconds, then I switch off the live because it felt so awkward. Then I went back and talked for 10 seconds, then I switch it off again.
I love what you share. It's really encouraging for everyone who's not posting. It's really encouraging.
When we have the discipline to practice a skill, the skill will stick with us. It's not for you. It's not for my boss, not for my team. It's always for me. And there was one day, I went out with my bosses drinking and I worked until 2 a.m. But that day I was so busy, I did not go live yet. Committed that to myself that I will go live every day. I came back home, dead tired like a dog. I still switched on my camera and I went live. Although it was just 10-15 minutes, but I went live. I practice every day, every single day. 3 years ago, not everybody can go live on TikTok. Not everybody. They have certain terms and conditions that you need to fulfill. One of them, you need to have minimum 1,000 followers. But now no more. So what I do, that is how I started, right? I go live, I download my clips, and I find my best snippets of my clips, then I will upload on my TikTok. Then from there, my TikTok followers in the beginning was only 50. Half of them probably are my Facebook friends. Then with that kind of videos that I uploaded, slowly it gained new followers. On 10 July, they sent me a notification and said, congratulations, you have reached 1,000 followers. You now have access to go live on TikTok. Then I went live on TikTok and I continued to be live there because they have very nice filter. I look much prettier and skinnier in TikTok. But now Instagram also got filter, but back then Instagram didn't have it. So I continue to be live on TikTok. And from the daily practice, I got better at it. So initially, I barely have 4 people come and watch me live, okay, barely. That also are my friends probably. From 4, it became 40. Eventually, it reached 400. And per night right now, like last night I went live, there were 4,000 who came. It didn't start out fancy. Like a lot of stuff like you did not sit there as a CMO today without going through starting from the beginning.
Yeah.
Everybody starts somewhere, but we just need to start. And it doesn't matter how old you are. I started this when I was 44, okay? Because also the thing, younger generations nowadays, they talk about, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a social media influencer. I am 48. During my time as a teenager, I've never heard about what is the social media influencer because it doesn't exist. What is an influencer? I also don't know what is that. That was never in our ambition list. But if you ask any 7-year-old today, most likely they will tell you that I want to be an influencer, I want to be a TikToker, I want to be a YouTuber. So I want to see, what is it? Why is all this younger Gen Alpha, Gen Beta wants to be that? So I want to try. Now, I also get a lot of this question now. Is it too late to change your career? A lot of followers tell me, Auntie, I'm already hitting 40. You think it's too late to change career? I say, no. I am a very good example. I switched my career when I was 45. Okay, je. Things are so far so good. But it comes with hard work. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears, for sure. Because although I always talk about transferable skill, you might not start everything from scratch. But there are certain things that you do start from scratch. It is hard work. For example, dealing with haters is something I started from scratch. When I first got my hate comment, I didn't know how to deal with it, okay? Because it's something totally new. But is there transferable skills I can apply? Maybe. Because at work, you also have all these backstabbers, two-headed snakes, people who criticize you because they don't like you. But they do that. But they are people who kind of know you, you see. So you somehow still can accept it. But when a stranger come and criticize you, it hits a different level. The first thought was, who the fuck are you? You don't even know who the fuck I am. But eventually it became like, oh my God, that is such a good compliment for you to take the time. Although you don't like me, you still took the time to consume my content and put in the effort to show your hatred towards me. But it took a while from there to there. So it's still a lot of adjustment coming, but it can be done. My whole point is it can be done. You can change your career. My only advice is don't be so ambitious about it. If you decide to either change your position, you either decide you change your industry or your position or your job function. Don't do both at the same time.
I did. Difficult.
It's very hard. It can be done, but you must
I didn't manage.
You need to have the tenacity to do it. And I have so many personal friends of mine now that have it. I like to use one of my friends as an example. One of my friends, he was from pharmaceutical and he was in sales for more than 10 years. And backside itchy, right? Want to have a new scenery. He changed from sales to operations. He changed his industry from pharma to education. Changed both at the same time. He suffered, okay?
Yeah.
And like most people, he didn't make it. So he fell back to pharmaceutical sales, which brings him much more joy. Not to say you cannot change, but this is something I will advise you. Just pick one. You either pick your job function or you pick your industry. Like his case, either you continue to do sales in the education industry or you switch to operations in your pharma industry. Keep something constant in your life. You pace your adjustment. Don't change so many things at the same time. You need to still retain your knowledge of something you are an expert in and transfer that knowledge to that different function or industry. Like for example, HR, a lot of people say now, I am so proud of myself. I inspire a lot of people who want to be in HR now. It used to be, nobody wants to touch HR with a 10-foot pole, okay? A lot of people ask me, how do I go to HR? Depending what you are doing currently. So let's say your role is like you are doing retail sales, for example. You can transfer to HR by being a HR in the retail industry because you will not start everything from scratch. Because you are in operations for so long, you know what the people need. When you change your hat from ops to HR to support, you will know what ops people need support. You will think back, what would I wanted my HR to support me with, and be that HR. You know the knowledge of the retail industry, so you know how to go about. Now, what if you are from a different industry and you want to go into HR? You need to go have sales experience. Go get sales experience first. Then go look for a job with a recruitment agency. Recruitment agencies they are in the recruitment industry, but they have trouble recruiting recruiters. The irony in it. They are they're an expert in recruitment, and yet they struggle to recruit the best talents in recruitment. Because recruitment job is more sales oriented, not HR oriented. So the way to go it, you have to plan your path. You need to strategize how you want to enter. You get some sales experience, then you go to a recruitment agency, they will take you in. As long as you have 1 year sales experience, they will take you in as a recruiter. Then when you are in recruitment, that is the first pillar that you touch HR, which is talent acquisition. Then from there, you can easily worm your way into HR. When you are a successful recruiter from a recruitment agency, chances are you will be able to find what we call an in-house recruitment job, which means you no longer recruit for clients, you will recruit for your own company. You will become an end user. And when you become a recruiter in an end user environment, that it will open up opportunities for you to go to other parts of recruitment and other parts in HR. Like probably you're going to go to HR Ops, HRBP, Com and Ben, L&D. So you see, everything is possible, but you need to chart your path. You need to strategize it properly. You want to have a successful career, you need to use your brain a little. Don't depend on luck falling down from the sky. You have to take charge of it. There is always a way. But the way when you guys change, always keep something constant. Then switch. When you get good at this part, you keep this constant, then switch. Do switches in step by step like that so you don't burn yourself out in the process.
Love it. There's one thing that I was wondering regarding the brands. So when I was thinking about the 21 days, I was thinking, how do you start? Do you start strategizing who you want to be? How do you discover your own voice? Because that might be the scary thing. And
I started out with just writing random things that I learned from yesterday. A lot of content creators will tell you this, that their biggest problem is ideas. What ideas? They don't have any ideas. And mind you, back then, there's no AI to help me to think. Now you can bounce idea with ChatGPT to help you. But back then, it's nothing. It was just me and my own brain and my friends. My friends get so annoyed with me, okay, when I hang out with them. All I'm thinking is, how do I make a content out of them? Because it's quite often, right? You hang out with a bunch of people, then someone saying some good shit. I was like, that's the shit I want to write about. But what you wanted to ask the 21 days, but it was all nothing. It was just that my strategy of my content also evolved over time. It started out with something very simple. It just started out with, I would just sit down and think, what did I learn yesterday? Because every day you will learn something. What happened yesterday? What did I learn? Then I would just do a little short storytelling about it. And initially, my posts are very short. I keep it at 140 characters, just like tweets, like Twitter. Back then was Twitter, not even X. So what I do, I will type it out in my tweet to make so that I don't go naggy about it. But eventually I learn, people on LinkedIn, they like to read. They don't mind reading long posts. It's very different from the Twitter crowd. Different strokes for different folks, right? Eventually, I started to write a little bit more than 140 characters. Then I noticed those posts with better narratives gets better in reactions. From day one, I always have been studying my own content. What works, what doesn't work. one of the best way to do research is go consume content. That is something also Gary Vee taught during his marketing talks. He said, before you start creating, consume first. Just spend half an hour on TikTok and just scroll for half an hour and pay a little attention on what make you pause, what make you swipe.
Yeah, have the self-reflection of what am I doing and why am I doing
what you like. Because ultimately, you want to create content that interests you. Maybe for dancing video, you don't have a like for dancing videos, so you will swipe. So you don't go create dancing videos because it's not your interest, ma. Like for me, I love dancing videos, but I also have to realize something. I don't have the talent.
You could have done one dance a day. You didn't choose.
I didn't choose. You know why? Time is also of an essence. It's not something I am great with. It's something that I have to start totally from scratch. Again, if I would choose dancing video, I will have choose to change my industry, change my expertise. It will be very hard for me. What I did, I changed my industry from corporate to social media, right? But I maintained my HR expertise. I didn't go create something new. Instead of talking in a classroom, in the boardroom, I am now talking to the camera.
Got it. And how do you choose or how do you discover your own identity? You're responding from a personal standpoint. For all the HR who are doing employer branding or they are recruiting for the company. So right now we talked a lot about how you do it as a person, like how you start and how you little by little find your sweet spot. But how do you do it as a company to find a voice? Specialize.
I tell you my very complicated background, right? But if I go outside, what will people know me as? HR, nothing else. Because that was a strategy I brand myself with. People are not into jack of all trades anymore. They want a subject matter expert. Even on social media, you will notice you follow this person because this person is a subject matter of something, not jack of all trades. You need to specialize on something. Can you imagine if I am out there talking about everything under the sun? Will it make people follow me? Maybe. But what if I just focus on HR? Because that is the brand I created myself, right? Why would people follow me? They straight away will tell you this. Because I can learn HR from her. They will not tell you because I can learn leadership from her. She will not tell you because I can learn marketing skills from her. No, this is what the content I put out. I show my expertise on a particular subject. This is what we call hyper specialization. You zoom down on things that you are good at.
And when you don't know yet, you practice something you're curious about and then...
I do a little mixture. Okay, social media is a very different animal because when you are too niche on something, it's very hard to find sponsorship. So sometimes we also need to diversify. So right now I diversify in other stuff like lifestyle kind of thing. Like I like makeup. So now you see my videos are all about getting ready with me because it's something that I like personally that is not work related, that brings me joy. I put on makeup and talk about HR at the same time. When you are skilled enough, you will be able to experiment all these things and see how the thing will react. Even in your career, you have to specialize in something. A lot of people come and tell me, Auntie, I've been trying to look for a job for a very long time. Cannot. But when I look at their resume is crap, okay? Just by the look of your resume, I don't know what you are good at. You know, this happens to who? This happens to especially older people who have done so many things. The more mature workforce, where they have been everywhere, done this, done that, been there, done that. And when they put everything into their resume, it will become like a clutter. People cannot zoom down to see what you are good at. That is why I always emphasize, read the job advertisement properly. Understand what is the hiring manager is looking for. Then just highlight those skills. You don't need to tell everybody your life story. Just tell them why you are good at that job. Just highlight what they need to hear, what they need to know about you. Specialize in something. Don't be a jack of all trades. I have so many friends, even in their 50s even. At one time, we hired one person that is above 60 years old as a recruitment consultant. Retired, but we still hire. Why? because he was an expert in insurance. He has been in insurance for the past 3 decades. So we were looking for a recruiter who can recruit for the insurance industry because that was his expertise. As you grow older, as you mature in your career, it will come to one point you have to pick something and be good at it. That is how you maintain employable throughout your life. Those people who come and tell me they struggle, they cannot find job, is most likely they don't specialize in something. When a stranger look at your resume, they cannot decide. The only way to get out of it is your connections, your cables. People who know you, who has the experience of working with you, who can vouch that you are a good employee. It's either this or that. Either you are well known in the market to attract employers, or you need to reach out to your connection so people can introduce you to employers.
And interesting, you talked earlier about how to get into HR through the road of sales and then recruitment. It was an interesting one. For the people who are HR execs or they have a function within HR, but they're not managing HR or directing HR, what's your recommendation to grow into more director roles or even CHRO when you have a function of HR?
They also need to specialize in something because you also have HR generalists, right? Or HR that does everything, right? Also jack of all trades, but confined to the HR space. You also need to be good at something. You need to pick something you want to specialize because in HR, there's also so many pillars.
Yeah.
There's L&D, com and ben, right? brioHR is com and ben. brioHR is also HR systems.
Mm-hmm.
You need to specialize in something eventually and just be good at it. Be the go-to person and be the subject matter expert. How you want to grow within HR is about leadership skills. You want to be on top of HR, most likely you need people management skills. It's very rare you hear somebody who does not have anybody reporting to them, yet they are someone in the industry. I rarely hear that. I don't know anybody like that. I've never heard a super successful HR person who was not a boss. Because HR is so huge. To be impactful, you need an army of people, an army experts to come together. Of course, the one that we need to move away is from your transactional HR to become a strategic HR. Actually, all jobs are the same, even for sales. You have to move away from being a transactional salesperson to become a strategic sales manager. You always have to move the strategic way. Payroll is something transactional. Organization development. This is a very rare skill in HR. Everybody call themselves an OD, but they're actually not an OD. A real OD person is hyper strategic. They really look at all pillars of HR and see how they can move mountains to move the business up with the people that they have. So that is how you move up in the HR industry. You have to be strategic. And it's not an easy job. And of course, the larger your organization is, the more headcount, you have more space to play with. Can you imagine if you work in an SME with 20 people? That's what you have, 20 people.
When you talked about Russell Kelly before becoming an influencer, you were talking about the fact that admin and HR were together.
It's very common in a lot of MNC or even SME, especially SME. Actually, in SME, it's even worse. Finance is also tagged together, HR, finance, admin. It is very common. It's very common because it's somehow related.
What's your recommendation for HR people who might be sitting on the finance or might be considered as more admin to raise up from that status in the organization where they have less decision-making power, less influence because they are felt or perceived by the organization as something of low value of admin? It's not everywhere, but for the people who are experiencing this, how do you elevate the conversation? And how do you not only get yourself into more strategic conversations or strategic projects, but how do you get the company to think more strategically about HR?
Know your business well. One of the downfalls I see when it comes to support team, because they're support, they are not frontliners. So a lot of them think there is no need of me to do sales. Right? I'm support, right? I'm not here to promote. But can you imagine if you know your business well? If any day there is some sort of event, exhibition, you are there manning your booth and a customer walk in and you can promote your company services and products. Doesn't matter, your HR, procurement, or whoever. You have to know your business well. Because if you do not know your business, you do not know how to support the business. You want to move from a support role to be a strategic partner, you have to know what is your boss's SMART goals. You have to know what is your head of the company, what is their KPI. You need to understand the boss KPI first, then you make your boss KPI into your KPI. That is how you move from support to become strategic. Like, for example, admin, you talk about admin. Boss says that he want to expand his market into a few countries. I want to expand my market
Geography. Yeah.
As an admin, what do you guys need to do? You have to work with legal, right? To make sure you can obtain the right licenses. And admin, normally depends what kind of admin that you do. Like my admin, we take care of office license. We have to do our research to understand what are the paperwork that is required to obtain that license. Then we will work with legal accordingly to get those paperwork out on time for them to go and pursue that license. And it's a very important role, right? Without us, you guys will not get the license. So you cannot operate in it even in the first place. Admin is also in charge of pantry staff, most likely. They are there to make sure the office is clean, they manage the cleaner and all those stuff, right? We have hybrid mode of working nowadays. So people are I don't know whether you notice this, this work from home thing is slowly dying off. A lot of companies now are asking people to go back to the office. In order to have a productive, people are already dragging their feet to go to the office. You need to make office environment nice for the people, keep them happy. You have to make sure your pantry are fully stocked. You have to make sure the toilets are dry and clean. You have to make sure the cups are being washed, that kind of thing, to support them so they can work more comfortably at their space. You need to create an environment that they are very comfortable working in so they can be more productive. Always link back your role to what people need. When you are a support team, your customers are the internal employees. Understand the business well so you can see how you link all these things together. It's all about strategy also, right? At the end, I need to know what are my boss goals are. I want to know what the organization goals are. Then I want to see how is it I can play a role in helping my boss to achieve their KPI. Then we have to monitor the effectiveness of what we are doing. Are they moving the needles or not? Sometimes I say, we don't have to focus about so many things, but focus on things that are impactful. I give you example, HR. I don't do a lot of fancy stuff when I was head of HR. When I took over HR, I cancelled all the fancy stuff, like for example, flowers for mothers on Mother's Day. It's a nice to have, but not critical. Like, people have been asking for a coffee machine forever. It's a nice to have for me. It's not critical. It's not on my priority list. My priority list is your career progression. So I spent a lot of time training my middle managers how to conduct a proper appraisal. I spent a lot of time creating engagement programs to understand what are you lacking of so I can close the gap for you. I spent a lot of my time with the L&D team to improve the confirmation rate in my company so that I can improve the retention in my company. While, whether there's a Halloween party, whether there's a makan raya thing, I get somebody, I delegate it. It's important, but it's not urgent. It's nice to have. Not important, not urgent, so I delegate it. No, it's not something I focus on. You just have to pick the few things that can move the needle and just focus on that one. All other fancy things, if you feel like it, you do it. But don't make it your priority. I have that problem with one of my HR heads because her passion is decoration. She spent a lot of time decorating the office. But I get it because it's something that's her therapy. Just like how I write on LinkedIn every day, that is her therapy. So I let her be. But I always warn her, please don't tell me you are very busy decorating the office that you forgot to run payroll. Not acceptable. That is your priority. This is a nice to have.
This is your pet project. Okay, so super, super useful. So there's almost tension in between everything we said so far. We spoke about hyper specialization that gives you to be a subject matter expert, but also very valuable in whatever you chose. And at the same time, you need to know very deeply your organization, which forces you to not specialize, but know about everything a little bit. And so basically, I was going to challenge you.
So that you know what to focus on. It's very basic 101. One of the things that I insisted before I took over HR. People who hire for support role, right, they don't have to sit for ops training. We are in the recruitment business. So when we do orientation week, the recruiters have to go through a 5 days training to learn everything. But when it comes to other stuff like company policy, it's just a 2 days thing. Before me, right, the support staff, we only sit for 2 days training. They don't go for the full 5 days. When I took over, I say no. I know they are not doing recruitment job. Doesn't mean they should not know how recruitment is being done. That is the company bread and butter, They must know how the company operates. They must know the product services well. They might not do it, but they need to know how to do it. Because can you imagine? You go tell someone, hi, I'm the finance manager and I work in Perso Kelly. Oh, what are you guys in? We are in recruitment. Oh, really? So how does this recruitment work? Oh, I don't know. I'm finance. I only take care of the books.
Yeah.
No. But you know how the business works, right? You know how the billing works, how a fall off work. Are we able to do billing in stages? Which means you need to understand the whole process as business. Make sense or not? Even like for you are, of course, marketing have to know because you're promoting the services.
We have to know, but I would agree with you that most people don't, and we try to hyper specialize in all our functions. So that's what I was trying to say is there's a tension between those two things, where you want to hyper specialize on key skills, key strengths, at the same time having a broad view of the organization that enables you to be strategic and prioritize. And I was going to challenge you until you spoke about prioritization. So yeah, it looks like the C and it looks like too much, but if you do the right analysis of everything you understand, then you can choose where to invest your time.
Use tools like the Eisenhower Matrix. I love using the Eisenhower Matrix. Put things in 4 quadrants. What is urgent and is important, do it now. What is urgent but not important, then you delegate. What is urgent, what is important but not urgent, then you plan it. What is not urgent, not important, you ignore it. Just use the Eisenhower Matrix.
I love what you shared. I think the other thing I wanted to ask you is more related to even how you talk to me and the choice you made. Why do you choose to focus on the employee, on the end user, and not so much on the HR or HR directors or CEOs? Your leadership training at the moment, it's more for management.
Even your CEO is the middle management between the team and the investors.
It's you're more, and right now when I hear you and lots of the content, I feel you're almost, I should not be saying this, I should ask you the question instead of doing that. But that's the way I started.
Social media, is it? Social media?
Yeah, social media, yeah.
You see, I target,
you're advocating for the employee.
No, if you guys listen it properly, I'm advocating for employers. I am telling you what you guys are doing wrong so you can correct your course.
Okay. So the way I read it is like you're taking the side of the employee, but you say, I'm giving you feedback.
Who is the heartbeat of the organization? Who is the heart of the organization? Employees,
Talent.
right?
Yeah.
Talents. If you don't take care well, if you take care well, they will die for your business. In industrial court, I represent employers. I don't represent employees. That is why I know what employers are fucking up left, right, center, how they lose cases in court. Because I see things from their point of view. And it will look like I am on the employee side. But that is how you should. That is how you should run HR. Hey, what is HR function? It's side the employer, right? HR is hired by the company, which is correct. Should the HR side company more? Which is correct because they are the one that pays your bills, right? What is important for the company? Number 1, you make sure they don't go to court. How do you make sure they don't go to court? You make sure you are compliant. A lot of stuff I talk about is non-compliance. It's just that in a very entertaining way. And a lot of employees, they don't tell you to your face what you did wrong. I tell it on behalf of them, what you are doing wrong. Because people don't voice it out, you do not know, right? You will continue to fall into the wrong path. Then, productivity comes from happy employees. How do you make employees happy? Maybe start by not organizing team building on people's off day. Don't make mandatory functions on a weekend where people is supposed to have their me time. You already have them Monday to Friday, not enough. I always say this, employees are the heart of any organization. If you look at any court cases in the industrial court, everything is biased towards the employee. Why do you think Employment Act is created for? Is there to protect the employer? Why do you think the Industrial Act, PDPA, all these are created? Why does the law exist in labor? It's there to protect the employees. If you can't beat them, you need to join them. If you would run your business siding the employee, you will never go wrong, because that was how the rules of the game is being established. Smart employers follow me and they will listen to me carefully and they will have to create this realization. Even in my leadership workshop, it's the same. I'm not there to tell you how to be a good boss. You guys know how to be a good boss. But I am just creating a platform for you guys to realize, to self-realize what you are doing and is that right. One of the activities that I do in my leadership workshop, I ran a survey with my Instagram followers to ask them to tell me one thing that you hate about your boss. And we play it like Family Feud style. You know that game, Family Feud by Steve Harvey? So I do it. What are the top 9 things that people hate about your boss? Because they are all bosses there, right? Okay, what is the top thing that people hate about you? Huh? It's just to make them realize what people are hating. Then they fix it. You want to take a guess what was number 1? The one thing. I put up this survey for 24 hours, one day. One day only I put up this survey. I have almost 500 responses.
Yeah,
the number of hates they are. I cannot imagine if I would put this survey up for 1 week, how many more hates are coming in.
Is it lack of integrity? Is it something related to not doing what you say?
Lack of integrity is part of the top 9. The answer is on the board. But the number 1 thing, I also was a bit surprised that people hate the most is micromanagement. But when I ran the workshop, we talked about it. Is it bad to micromanage? Is it okay to micromanage sometime? And everybody agreed, yes, it's necessary. But people hate it. So we have all this vast discussion to come and see how we are able to educate the team why micromanaging can be good for you. Don't hate it so much and understand from their perspective why they hate it.
Interesting.
It's a lot about self-realization when it comes to leadership. I've attended a lot of this leadership workshop because my company does heavily invest in our learning as leaders. And I took the best lessons that I have learned from other leaders and I put it into my workshop. And I realized that all this leadership training is a lot about self-realizing. What are you? Nobody is telling you are shit because they don't dare to. So let me tell you, you are shit.
Inspiring way to invite. When is the next one?
I don't think I don't know this one. I am currently winding down my training programs right now because I've been doing this for 2 years already. So I might want to try something new next year because I'm still at an experimenting stage. At this point of life, after 20 years of being in the workforce solutions industry, I am now entering like a new era of something. So I'm on my experimenting stage. This year, I will conclude all my trainings. I don't know yet. Next year, I'm going to try to start planning for my HR festival. Are you familiar with Coach Ella?
Yes.
It's like a big musical thing in the States. So I'm trying to do HR festival with some Coach Ella vibe.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do it outdoor With HR, we cannot do all this public toilet outside. Cannot. I want it Coach Ella style, as in entertaining like Coach Ella. Like Coach Ella,
Okay.
They have different stages. They have different singers coming in. So instead of different singers, I have different speakers. So I'm trying to design my whole conference next year. Maybe
Super cool.
HR can come.
That's cool. We were talking about Burning Man this morning, so you're in the same vibe.
I do not know what is Burning Man. It's a game show, is it?
It's a festival as well. It's less transactional than a festival. It's in the desert. It's more nature and it's more free.
But what attracts people to go to Burning Man?
Freedom.
Do what? What did you do there? Like Coach Ella is a concert thing.
Yeah, Burning Man, you have DJs as well. You have sculptors. You have people who are, basically everyone is an artist. You can come and you do your own art. You express yourself. It's a free place and you don't really know what's going to be there.
I have to go study Burning Man now.
Yeah, there are a few pretty fun ones.
Yeah, so I want to make my HR festival fun. So for the past 2 years, I've been attending a lot of HR conferences.
I saw you on the videos.
Marketing, any kind of conference, I will just go because I just want to learn what other people are doing, what works and what doesn't work.
How many people are you thinking to invite? Is it like something selected or big?
We're going to do pilot first. We're going to start something small.
Okay.
I think small. I have a partner with me now who is an expert in organizing conference. So we talk about it. We're going to start like maybe 200 participants, something small first.
And in KL or outside, like on a beach or something?
Most likely in KL. No, it's going to be in a fancy hotel. But I'm the fun part. He's the most serious part. He will take care of the speakers and stuff. But I want to bring in entertainment to it because I've been in the entertainment business for the past 2 years, right? I have developed new connections in the entertainment business. I want to try to merge corporate and entertainment together to make it fun.
I love it. Yeah, please do that. Cool. And maybe, I think it's related, and you talked about the future of your own experimentations. What do you feel when we talk about future of work and trying to move to a better standards for the workplace, maybe a place where people can be more inspired, do what they love, those kind of things? Do you have a vision for the future of work in Malaysia and in Asia? And how do you see it as a co-creation with other thought leaders? And how do we bring it forward closer?
I don't know how to express this, but I always think that there can be better spread of wealth.
Better spread of wealth.
You cannot have everybody who is successful. It's always a triangle when it comes to organization. I cannot have a lopsided triangle when I have 10 managers and 5 executives. It doesn't work like that. Not everybody can be on the top. But can we make the triangle leaner, fatter, instead of steep? Can we make it leaner like that? So there is a better distribution of wealth. I am a very different kind of boss. I'm very hands-on, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad. Because sometimes when you're too hands-on, you get dragged into the details. While as an aspiring leader, your helicopter is supposed to go high and see far. Not always calm down and micromanage the little details. That is something you should learn to let go and delegate. For future, I would just wish that people more open-mind things. For example, stop complaining about the next generation. Embrace each other better. Embrace the LGBTQ community better. Is it okay to hire somebody who is HIV positive? I think it's okay. We have one employee once who's HIV positive. We are okay about it. Because as we progress in society, there are a lot of things that are getting known more than unknown. Like, for example, we know so much about COVID right now. I can have somebody who's COVID positive next to me and I'm not going to be afraid. We are more educated of what it is right now and how to solve that issue. I wish people who are more open-minded, like, for example, is it okay to hire a pregnant woman? It's okay, right? I think there is a lot of things right now. There's a lot of prejudice. All these things are happening. Racism, sexism, ageism. All these are happening every day. But what I'm really hoping for, we just be racist in harmony. We be sexist in harmony. We be ageist in harmony. We can poke fun at each other, but there is always a limit to it. Just do it harmoniously. That is what I do hope for, a more harmonious workforce, lesser complaints. You will never be able to eliminate complaints, but lesser maybe.
Thank you. Love it. Love it. Yeah, loads of great stuff. Loads of great stuff. Thank you, Ling. Really appreciated the time. And I'm very excited about what you propose. Do you know already what months you want to do it?
April or May.
And when are you going to start planning?
We already started planning it. We started planning it already. I started recruiting. One of the things I realized because I've been on this social media engaging the public for so long, right? I know what is also a lot of issues. A lot of HR, I feel that there's a lot of conflict at work and their conflict resolution skills is not very good. I am thinking I want to engage a negotiator from the police to come. Somebody who negotiates with kidnappers and terrorists all the time. Like the FBI negotiator.
There's a guy who does that, who's famous. He has a masterclass. Yes, the masterclass.
I got the idea from Chris Voss because I feel it's true. There are a lot of conflict at work, but we are not trained to resolve conflict like how it should be.
The late night DJ voice.
Yes, I follow Chris Voss a lot. And I feel like if somebody can come and give a lecture of how to negotiate with terrorists, because I feel like employees are terrorists now. They always, like our children are also our terrorists. I call my son a terrorist.
Oh, you have children?
Yeah, I have a kid.
Bring it up.
A teenage boy, a growing terrorist. He's 14.
14, okay. Good luck.
So you see, negotiation is a skill HR really need. And I do not know who is training you all how to negotiate. I was never trained how to negotiate. I learned all my stuff from Chris Voss. And who best to learn to negotiate from someone who negotiate with terrorists, the real terrorists?
In Malaysia, you have people like that, you think?
I don't know. I'm trying to recruit that. I also trying to recruit. Now we talk about mental illness a lot, mental health a lot, right? Because you go to HR conference, you will notice this. They will get other HR experts to come to share their expertise. But they don't get people outside the industry, outside the job function. I think all of us, we know what it is they talk about, we can relate, right? But what if I get a clinical psychologist to come and conduct a talk? How should you exercise empathy towards a person, but not to the extent from empathy, people will confuse it with sympathy? Something different, right? Learn from experts that we do not know who knows the expert.
It's great. And it's a big source of creativity when you take two fields and you join them together, although they are not obvious.
Yes, but of course, a lot of people have a lot of expertise, but I find a lot of people have knowledge, but they do not know how to apply it properly. Like you study algebra in school, right? A lot of people complain, what do I use algebra for? Now that I'm an adult, I don't know what to use algebra for. No, you use it to learn how to prorate your salary. You use algebra, how to prorate your annual leave. All those are algebra, okay?
One last question on the event you're building. Will you give more space for personal insight, for self-reflection? You were talking about it for your leadership training, where it's a lot about self-realization.
We are also thinking about, maybe we want to break it into smaller groups, into smaller workshops. So we can have multiple workshops happening, depending what you want to go for. Then we can focus it. I even think about having one particular workshop on meditating. Because HR is a very stressful job, right? And we do not know how to meditate properly. So probably I get meditation expert to come in to teach us how to meditate.
Ling, I would love to, I don't want to take too much of now to do this. Also, you didn't plan to talk about it with me, but I would love to participate and contribute if in any way I can.
We are looking for sponsors all the time. We have not really planned it out. Like, for example, I'm always an advocate about HR systems. I think it's very important that we leverage on technology to make sure we manage our work properly. Transactional works can just outsource it to the system to do. Yeah. Don't crack your head and do it. And it has been lovely talking to you, Matty.
Thank you so much, Ling. Thank you so much for taking the time.